Oh, God, how are you guys? We are live. We are live. Talk some boxing, all that good stuff, Despite it being the festive period, it's been quite a busy week, hasn't it? Obviously, we had the Day of Reckoning card last weekend, just gone. And today we had Naoya Inoue defeating Marlon Tapales to become a two-weight undisputed champion. Bantamweight undisputed and now super bantamweight undisputed. Really good stuff by Naoya Inoue. Good year for him. I have to say, I felt Marlon Tapales did quite well in this fight. He gave Inoue some trouble. The southpaw stance of Tapales definitely gave Inoue something to think about. I liked how Tapales was trying to change his game plan throughout. He tried to make adjustments. Early on, he was kind of trying to snipe from the outside and kind of catch Inoue by surprise. Then he started to get a little more aggressive, try to meet fire with fire. That resulted in him getting dropped in round 4, but he still had success. He then tried to get his lead foot on the outside of Inoue's, and he tried to keep Inoue turning. He then kind of adopted a more side-on stance to try and avoid the right hand of Inoue. Tapales was always trying to change things up, which I appreciated, but ultimately, despite him doing pretty well, he didn't really win many rounds in this fight, and Inoue, his punches just told more at the end of the day, and he got a late stoppage. Good performance, though, man. Some people are saying Inoue didn't look great, but listen, man, it's an undisputed fight. It's supposed to be challenging. This is for guys. I swear this is his 4th weight class. It's supposed to be challenging. So yeah, credit to Tapales. He made it a fight, but Inoue was just too good, too powerful. Subdale, hope you had a good Christmas. Yeah, man, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Speaking of festivities, let's open a can of Stella Artois. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I'm back to work tomorrow, man. So I'm kind of getting back to reality. That's the bullshit thing about working in finance. You don't really get much time off. But yeah, I'll try and enjoy the rest of today. Naoya Inoue, pound for pound number 1. More active champions, beating more divisions, 1 more title wins than Crawford, and is 5 years younger. Plus, he's more active. Yeah, Inoue's fought a lot of guys who were champions, former champions, all went on to become champions. If you look at his resume, and he's building up a body of work. It's interesting. Where does he go from here? For me, I would actually like Inoue to stay at super bantamweight for a little while. I still think there's a couple of viable fights for him. Luis Neri, maybe. He's a former champion. MJ Akhmadaliev, former champion. In fact, former unified champion Akhmadaliev. And actually, many people felt he beat Tapales. So I think Akhmadaliev is a viable fight for him. Akhmadaliev's a good fighter. So there's still a couple of fights for Inoue at super bantam. Even John Real Casemiro. I don't think there's any rush to move up. Maybe have a couple of defenses and then move up. Go to featherweight. Yeah, I don't think Inoue got out of second gear. I kind of see where you're coming from, but I'll give credit to Tapales. I think he made Inoue think. He's on the wife beaters. I'm not back until the new year, luckily. Yeah, man. Yeah. Inoue wins are aging better than Buds. You could say that. Big up Mike. Yeah, big up Mike. Hope you had a great Christmas. Inoue's pound for pound number 1. No doubt the Americans are still seething. How far do you think he can go? As I said, I still want to see him defend a couple of times at super bantam against Akhmadaliev, maybe against Luis Neri. Then go to featherweight. I think Lee Wood is beatable. When you look at the featherweight division, who would I pick to really give Inoue trouble? I think he knocks out Lee Wood, to be honest. Lee Wood has power, but I don't think he has the durability to beat Inoue. Brandon Figueroa could be a tough fight. Figueroa's a tough guy. Ray Vargas could be interesting because of a range, but I think Inoue gets to him. Rafael Espinoza could be interesting. He recently beat Robese Ramirez. Now, Inoue is far more skilled than Espinoza, but Espinoza has that stereotypical Mexican style, seems to have a pretty good chin, a lot of work rate, and he's big for that weight class. There's good fights for him at featherweight, but when you look at it, I'd probably make him a favourite over all of those guys. Hence why I don't really see it as a immediate requirement for him to go to featherweight, because there's just as good of fights at super bantamweight, in my opinion. Inoue versus Neri in May, that's the plan. I don't mind it. No issues on my side. Neri's a decent fighter. Boxing Hotspur 57. Tapales is a tough dude, fought well and had a plan, just came up against something special. 100% how I see it. Boxing Hotspur, 100%. And honestly, when Inoue moves up, I think Tapales is very capable of once again winning a title at Super Bantam. I was impressed with him. I can't lie. I was actually quite impressed with Tapales. I've only seen a little bit of him previously, but I had seen him before. I hadn't seen that type of variety in his game. What's up, G-Man? How you doing, man? Hopefully you've enjoyed your Christmas, bro. Big up to Alan R. Inoue is an amazing combination of boxing IQ, athleticism, grit, and power. That will be next to impossible to beat him in his prime, yeah. Unless he does something crazy, like moves up to fucking super featherweight or lightweight. I agree. Inoue for me is pound for pound number one. The only thing stopping him being recognized globally as number one is his nationality. People don't like to go there, but I'd say that's the truth. Me personally, I don't really care about pound for pound all that much, but yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely. I think he's worthy of that sort of acclaim. I do. I'd favour Inoue against everyone at 126 and most at 130, but at 126, I think Espinoza, Vargas, and Ramirez are the toughest fights. I think I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think I'd agree stylistically. Plus, those guys are big. Well, Espinoza's big, Vargas is big. Inoue's pound for pound number one. Wings of Richard. What's up? Been okay, bro. Just kept it quiet. Not much happening. Just taking a rest. Don't blame you, bro. Did you watch the Inoue fight, G-Man? Did you watch the Inoue fight? I wasn't aware it was so early because I went to bed last night at like 3 o'clock. I was hammered. I had about 10 Stellas and I woke up about 10 o'clock today, 10:30, and I just about woke up in time to watch it. I forgot it was today, I'll be honest. I forgot. That would be a great fight, actually. Inoue versus Cordina, yeah, at 130. Yeah, there's so many options for Inoue right now. So many options. But yeah, before he moves up, I would like to see him fight Akhmadaliev. I think that'll be a good fight. They're dweebs, man. They're dweebs. Why is there a small subset of people asking for Tank versus Inoue? They want to see Inoue get beat, basically. They want to see him go up to a weight where he's not comfortable. That's what it is. Let's just be honest. Are these guys asking Gervonta to go to 147 or 154? No. Yes, big up JD. Yeah, I've seen it. Tapales impressed me way better than I thought. He put Fulton to shame. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. What's up, Lee? How you doing, bro? Yeah, I'm interested to see where Tapales goes from here. I am. Featherweight is super interesting to me because of the variety of styles with the four champions, quality boxers, boxer punchers, and a guy as awkward as Lopez. Makes me wonder if one will get to him. Weirdly, Lopez might be the most dangerous fight at featherweight. I forgot about Lopez. I think Lopez might be the most dangerous fight for Inoue at 126. I think he might be the most dangerous because he's so unorthodox. And he can punch. I would like to see that as well as a ball. MJ rematch for Tapales. Yeah, I'd like to see it again because first time around, it was a very close fight. Some people felt MJ won. MJ Akhmadaliev's a weird fighter. I see so much ability there, but he's so raw and unrefined. I just see him using too much energy, too much unnecessary movement, but There's real ability with Akhmadaliev. He can punch hard as well. It's another good fight, bro. There's a lot of good fights for Inoue. There's so many good fights for him. I see Bam Rodriguez clashing with Inoue at some point in his career. I don't think he would win, though. I think Bam is too far below Inoue at this point. But who knows? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. The 286 project, outside of heavyweights, what fights would you like to see get made next year? If I had a choice of of making certain fights, for me that's beyond, like above and beyond, is Bivol versus Beterbiev. Should Beterbiev beat Callum Smith? That's the number one for me. That's the number one for me. But yeah, aside from that, man, I mean, there's so many fights, right? There's so many fights. Haney versus Tio versus Matias. There's a lot of fights I want to see, bro. Janibek in there with another champion like Jamal Charlo, Canelo Benavidez. So many fights. So many fights. Bam Rodriguez against maybe somebody at super flyweight. You see those undefeated dweebs acting like Joshua's performance against Wallin now means he beats Usyk. Yeah, bro, this is the thing with Joshua, bro. Either people give this guy no credit or they go way over the top. There's no in-between with Joshua. I feel like people aren't sensible with Joshua. There's some people who act like he's a bum, and there's some people who act like he's the next coming of Mike Tyson. There's no sensibility when it comes to talking about Joshua. It's either over-the-top fanboys or people who are just hate the guy. You know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. But Joshua, to me, looked good. I felt Joshua looked good. And, you know, I liked the more aggressive approach. I don't think he will, bro. I think Tank is Tank. He's going to get himself in trouble regardless. He's not going to turn into Khabib overnight, you know? Ajit Kabayel was good. Yeah, he completely schooled Makhmudov. He was very good. He was very good. Started boxing, then started to find the openings, then he started to beat up Makhmudov. The body attack was very good. I'd like to see Kabayel versus Dubois, Mike, to be honest. I think that's a good fight. You think we'll see a big card on March 9th? They made the day of reckoning after Usyk versus Fury got pushed back. Seems like they always have a backup plan. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure who'd be on it. Big up Taylor. Yeah, I had a good Xmas, man. I had a good Christmas. Oh, yeah, you've got to favour over AJ. Sorry, you got to favour AJ over Wilder now. You have to. And as for Wilder, man, his killer instinct is gone. Seemed happy to be there. His energy was off. He's done, man. He's done. Beterbiev is basically saying Bivol is all talk, and it doesn't sound like Bam wants it with Roman. That's a shame. They're two good fights, as we know. As for Bivol, I have to say, don't get me wrong. I know Dmitry Bivol is a very good boxer. His footwork is very good. Unbelievable distance control. Fights with a great rhythm. Good accuracy, etc. Bivol is a really good boxer, but I'm finding it hard with him. He reminds me of like the last generation of Cuban fighters. There's so much ability there, but I just find the guy a little boring. I can't lie. I just find him a little boring. You have to be stopping a guy like Lyndon Arthur, in my opinion. You have to be. Dave Allen versus Mark Demori. Dave Allen would knock him out in a round. Mark Demori is so bad. If he can be a pro boxer, we can as well. I swear to God. If he can be a pro boxer, so can everybody in the chat. I wasn't all that impressed. It was Bivol. He's got to be offering more. He has to be offering more. Yeah, he won against Kevin Gonzalez. He won some sort of eliminator, so maybe. Bivol's one of my favourite fighters, but he definitely underperformed against Arthur. I would still pick him against Beterbiev, although if he fights like that, he'll lose. Yeah, if Beterbiev is anything like he was against Usyk, I think it's a similar fight, to be honest. I think you'll see Bivol win the rounds, but it's going to be taking a lot out of him, and he'll keep on boxing until he can't, then he'll get taken out. In my opinion. Yeah, exactly, G-Man. Yeah, Joshua was a good fighter. He still needs some more confidence builders, in my opinion. But to say he's going to beat Usyk and the likes after one fight is wishful thinking. Yeah, that's the thing with AJ. Like, it's so hard to have a rational conversation about him on YouTube because either the commenters or people following, some are like just don't like the guy and he's a bum, and others think he's the next best thing since fucking Mike Tyson. There's no, like, if you criticize AJ in any regards, you're a hater. And if you praise him in any regards, oh, you love AJ. And it's ridiculous, man. There's certain fighters like that. That's why I don't talk about certain guys. Just sick of this irrational fanboyism or like just tribalism. Yeah, Tank is a weirdo, man. Yeah, my problem with the AJ performance is that he'll do that with a power... He won't... Hang on, he will do that... He won't do that with a power puncher because Wallin is not. Well, there's definitely that possibility, but Jermaine Franklin wasn't a power puncher, right? And he didn't do that sort of... He didn't fight that way against Franklin. And Franklin was there for the taking. Franklin is average. Small as well. I'd favour Stevie Wonder to beat Wilder. Yeah, bro. Listen, Deontay Wilder's done. Yeah, bro, it's going okay, the 90s. YouTube, as you know, are funny with that sort of content, so many videos get age restricted, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it was, yeah. The best fight, the most fun I had on that card, I enjoyed Caballero's performance against Makhmudov, and I enjoyed Miller Dubois. I can't lie. I enjoyed those fights. I enjoyed Wilder losing as well, but the fight itself wasn't great. The fight itself wasn't great. And I felt Callum Smith was... Callum Smith, I felt Joshua was good as well. I think Callum Smith will upset Beterbiev. He's got a punchless chance, bro. He's got a punchless chance. I had money on Bivol by stoppage, so it was frustrating to watch Bivol. He has no variety when on the front foot. He just throws 1-2s to the head all night. Beterbiev has so much more variety on offense. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Skydog. Yeah, Lyndon Arthur sounds like a name that was reversed. Wouldn't Arthur Lyndon make more sense? I know, right? Yeah, I agree, G-Man. We said that before the fight, though. He is awful. He is truly awful. Vodzik was better than Bivol. Ooh. I think offensively, he was certainly better. Offensively, he was certainly better. I don't think they'll fight again anyway, to be honest, AJ and Usyk. Hrgovic beats AJ? I don't think so, bro. Listen, when I followed Hrgovic before he turned pro. And in the amateurs, he was a lot more dynamic, I felt. It seemed like he moved around the ring better. It seemed like he was quicker off the draw. As the years have gone on since he's been a pro, to me, he's just stagnated. And I see a cumbersome guy, very telegraphed in his approach. I think AJ beats him, to be honest. It's heavyweight, right? So anything can happen. It could be competitive, but I think AJ beats him. I think AJ beats him. Yeah, Bivol never put anyone in a coma and turned them into a vegetable like Vodzik. Yeah, true that. Yeah, Naoya Inoue, I believe, will meet his matches at 126. rather than Rabasi, the three tall Mexican champs currently, Kolmatov, depending on how his fights go with Ford or Nick Ball. Yeah, there are challenges for him, Daniel, at 126. There are challenges there. Big up to you, Brandon. Hopefully you're keeping well, man. Not seen you for a while, man. Hopefully you've been keeping well. People should have known what they were getting with Mark Demori when he said in his IFL interview, "I have a very simple boxing style." Laugh out loud. Yeah, awful. Truly awful. Yeah, he dropped Arthur with a body shot towards the end. Yeah, bro. Arthur wouldn't have gone 3 rounds with Beterbiev. Let's be honest. Yeah, the Pritchard Colon story was sad. He was getting hit upside the head as well, like back of the head and whatnot. Rabbit punches. The referee did a terrible job officiating that fight. Referee did a terrible job. Absolutely awful. Yeah, I agree with regards to Joshua. He did much better against Wallin, but he's still a level below the very best. But who is the very best now at heavyweight? Honestly, the only person I can really put at the elite level on current form is Usyk. Tyson Fury, forget the Ngannou fight. I saw signs in that Chisora fight. I think Tyson's there for the taking. I felt that for a while. Honestly. I don't think Warrington would be, bro, Daniel. I don't think Warrington would be. I think Inoue would go through Warrington like a doorway. I don't think he's got the power to keep Inoue off. And I think still Inoue hits hard enough to really put Warrington in his place. Lara could be interesting because of the power. Yeah, I see this a lot, bro. If you criticize Fury, rightfully, it's hate. And Joshua fans agree. It's not hate. It's just to point out facts. Yeah. You do the same with Joshua or don't worship him. It's hate. I agree, bro. When somebody calls you a hater on this whole YouTube boxing thing, yes, it usually means they're a fanboy. I found it hilarious when Parker was battering Wilder in the corner and you could see Andy Ruiz at ringside laughing and shadowboxing. Bro, Andy needs to get back in that ring. Maybe Andy versus Parker for a rematch. Why not? I think Tyson Fury's a ticking time bomb. I do. I think he's a ticking time bomb. Maybe I'm wrong, bro. Maybe I'm wrong. I agree, Dave. I agree. Usyk will always be a horrible stylistic matchup for AJ. His fans can say what they want. And in my opinion, Usyk's a horrible stylistic matchup for Tyson Fury as well. I agree. Yeah, I felt Dubois boxed well. Probably the best win of his career. What I want to see now from Dubois, don't push this guy into another high-profile fight because the Joe Joyce fight, he fought nobody before Joe Joyce. We saw what happened. He then rebuilds, but once again fights nobody of consequence, then gets the Usyk fight. He needs building fights now. He beat Miller, went some rounds, great. Why not Caballel next, for example? Why not a Parker? Somebody like that. Issue is, Alan, that Callum Smith fight, in my opinion, wasn't real with Canelo. So, but yeah, if we're to believe the Canelo fans and the people who believe every boxing fight is real, then you're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, interesting. Bivol is saying he wants Opataya next after the Beterbiev fight. Interesting. Jai Opataya, by the way, I'm a big fan of Jai Opataya. So he was fighting Elizoro, a guy who is a similar level to Lyndon Arthur, and you see the comparisons. That's what you're supposed to do against a big underdog when you're this elite level talent. He starched that guy. And that was a nasty knockout as well because his neck hit the bottom rope. They can be dangerous. How excited are you for 2024 and Dave Allen's 6.0 comeback? He's really into training this time. Yeah, I can imagine. he'll get wheeled back out for some heavyweight. Maybe Moses Atalma. Yeah, that's a good fight domestically, JD. Sven, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Hrgovic needs to get his weight down. He's too heavy. He used to be in the 220s. Now he's nearly 250. Yeah. I'd say he needs to be mid 230s, maybe. Andrew Tate fucking sucks, man. I'm sorry. He can't box. It's like asking how would anybody do if they started boxing early. Plus, he's got that guy, Andrew Tate, man. His revisionism in regards to his kickboxing career has been the most impressive thing he's done because he's convinced people he was like a world-class kickboxer when he wasn't. He was good, don't get me wrong. Like, he'd whoop most men in the streets, obviously. He can fight, obviously. But, like, he was never in glory. He was never in K1. It's like being an MMA champion in some, like, tin pot league, not even Bellator or something like that. Or ONE FC. It's like being, like, an MMA champion in some regional league. The guys he fought were terrible. Hence why nobody can actually tell me his resume. So yeah, when he says he's a full-time kickboxing world champion, he's not lying, but he is. He won those titles, yeah, but they were minor organization titles. And if you compare, like, fucking Andrew Tate to a prime Badr Hari, like, Badr Hari wouldn't have Andrew Tate for sparring, quite frankly. Or Rico, you know, these guys. I'm not sure, Eze. I'm not sure, man. It's just a shame that fight hasn't happened. Yeah, that's another thing. You can't say a fighter quit in the ring these days. Snowflake era, yeah. And another thing as well, I don't think all quitting is the same. So Sonny Edwards quit against Bam Rodriguez. I didn't find that to be like an egregious quit. He was done at that point in time. Had nothing left. His eye was fucked. Gave it a real good go. Gave Bam issues, but he had nothing left. When a guy shows to me he's given it all he can, I don't really go in on guys for quitting. But we know when guys don't give all they can and they quit. There's a difference. Yeah, I heard that as well. Yeah, I think he will beat. I think AJ would beat Hrgovic right now. Oh, who would I pick between AJ and Zhang? That's an interesting fight. Oh, I would have to think about it. I would have to think about it. Yeah, yeah. Miller isn't great, man. He was way more washed than I thought he was. I think Opataya has enough skills to give a lot of heavyweights trouble. I do. When he bulks up, I think his power will be respectable at heavyweight. He's got great movement, great in and outment, good hand speed, good skills. I think Opataya will give a lot of guys trouble. He's not as good a boxer as Usyk, don't get me wrong. But we see how Usyk has done well at heavyweight. You know, Michael Hunter had minor success at heavyweight. We've seen cruiserweights go up in recent years and have some sort of success. I think Opataya can as well. Yeah, Fury is washed. He could very well be, Alan. He could very well be. I agree, Skydog. I agree. I think he does, bro. I think Usyk has a great shot. Yeah. Yeah, and also with Tyson Fury as well, he spent a lot of years abusing his body, and eventually, I don't care what anybody says, eventually that catches up with you, especially when you're doing cocaine and shit like that. He probably would get to Lara. The only interesting thing with Lara is that in the exchanges he could be dangerous. Daniel, I don't believe we've seen the best of Hrgovic. If he gets that Joshua fight, and assuming he'll come to win, that will determine rather whether or not Hrgovic has it. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I think he needs that sort of fight at this point. I agree. We need to see how good he is. And he's still feasting on all those tacos that the AJ money bought him. Yeah, he is. Dubois versus AJ. AJ. You got to go AJ, man. You have to go AJ. I heard a rumor. Ruiz versus Bacole on Usyk versus Fury undercard. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Because Bacole brings it. He likes to put his shots together. He likes to apply pressure. And Ruiz likes to sit in the pocket and exchange. That could be a very good fight. That could be a very good fight, G-Man. I like that fight a lot. Maybe it's that, Lee. Maybe it's that. But can you then turn that around in one camp? If that is true, so let's say he's not been taking these guys seriously and he hasn't been training the way he should have, can you then fight Usyk and then train seriously and be your best after all that time slacking? I don't know. I agree, Sven. It's about keeping active. Yeah, I've said this for a long time about this era. Yeah, we've had some fun fights. But it's not as strong as people make out to be. You know, apparently the Klitschko era, in some people's opinion, was the worst heavyweight era of all time. That's what a lot of people say. The worst heavyweight era of all time. If that was the case, and this is some sort of renaissance, how was Povetkin able to hang around for so long in this era? While being shot, he knocked out a premier contender in Dillian White. A relic from an era that was terrible, apparently. Please go by. Why was Robert Helenius able to hang around for so long, exposing up-and-comers like Kalnaki? Why was Pulev able to hang around so long? If this era was like this golden era. Yeah, I like that fight as well. Yeah, Dubois versus Frank Sanchez, Dubois versus Caballel. They're the sort of fights he should be going for, in my opinion. They're the sort of fights he should be going for. How competitive would AJ versus Dubois be? I remember you once saying AJ gets rid of Dubois in 2 rounds. Yeah, I mean, listen, Dubois still needs to rebuild, man. He still needs to rebuild. AJ is far more proven. I think he's a better boxer. He's taller, he's longer, more experienced. And I actually think he could take advantage of Dubois' style, who does square up quite a lot. The lead right hand of AJ in that Wallin fight was very good. And I could see Dubois catching I could see AJ catching Dubois with that shot square on. I think AJ's got a bad style for Dubois, to be honest. Dubois needs to continue to improve, have decent fights, have fights that takes him rounds, and we'll see whether he can actually make a statement and whether he can actually become something in the heavyweight division. Yeah, bro, that Frank Sanchez fight was the stereotypical Frank Sanchez fight against Junior Farr. Boring, uninspiring until it wasn't. There is quality there with Frank Sanchez. He does have some good attributes, but he just coasts way too much. And yeah, Anderson isn't taking that fight, but it would be a good fight. It would be a good fight, Daniel. It would be. I'd like to see it if it was real, like you said. Yeah, I agree. I think Wilder was there for the taking. Parker smothered his work. He could have KO'd Wilder when he hurt him. I had 40 quid for him to do it, so I was very disappointed. Wilder is shit. Yeah, but Parker got his tactics pretty much spot on. He was all the way out until he wasn't. He never really stood in front of Wilder. He never really stood in front of Wilder. And if Wilder, listen, it goes to show how limited Wilder is. One thing he could have done was the uppercut, because Parker was always dipping to that side, but Wilder doesn't have anything other than a straight right hand. They do look somewhat similar. Yeah, Zorro kept circling to his right against Opataya. Big rookie mistake. I agree. Yeah, he's had a couple of like gimme fights now. I think he needs to step up as well. He got stripped of his IBF, but I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with Briedis. Goulamarian is there. That's a good fight. I think he goes through Chris Billum-Smith like a doorway, to be honest. Who else is there? Noel Gevor. I think he'll beat Noel Gevor quite comfortably. If I was managing Opataya, I would try to pick up a couple of belts in 2024 and then maybe go to heavyweight, to be honest. But that's it, Boxing Hotspur. That is it. Opataya showed you how you deal with guys who are not in your league. Exactly. If you're in a mismatch, take care of these guys. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Okay, Wilder was on 78 IQ, making a million excuses and calling himself a king. Absolutely cringe. I actually saw that video. I watched the I listened to the interview. Not even about Wilder. I'm going to come out here and say it, but I heard it, like Wilder referring to himself as a warrior, as a king. And just the softball questions from 78 and how he would agree that he was a king. Oh, what about this champ? What about that champ? I've never heard anything so pathetic in all my life. Imagine being a man and being that subservient to a guy who you're viewing. Because 78 obviously thinks Wilder's like a different specimen to him, that he's a much better person, a much better man. Absolutely pathetic. Sniveling, beta, awful, absolutely dreadful. He should be embarrassed. And his dad, if he had one, should be embarrassed as well to raise such a pussy. Absolutely dreadful. Can't believe what I was listening to. Couldn't believe what I was listening to, honestly. Imagine like pole smoking when you're like some 40-year-old man. Absolutely embarrassing. 78 fluffer TV, pathetic. Fat waste of space. Fuck that guy. Bum. Absolute bum. The guy can't even pimp properly, bro. This guy was like showing OnlyFans shit, and even his bitches are fucking ugly as piss. Christ. Oh, I'm a pimp. And bro, can't even do that right. Wilder's one of those people who is incredibly stupid and cringe, but he thinks he's profound and intelligent, yeah. Wilder wears the undisputed Dunning-Kruger belt. Joyce found his long-lost father in China. Exactly. Should have put Andrew Tate in with Mirko Krokop. Can you imagine? Exactly. These are world-class kickboxers. Alex Pereira. These are world-class kickboxers. I don't know whether he boxed. I don't know whether Andrew Tate boxed, to be honest with you. Yeah, I agree, Boxing Hotspur. I think Wallin, at that point in time, should have continued and went for it, tried to just swing and hope to land something big. Yeah, if Tate was good, he would have fought the likes of Gokhan Saki or Tyrone Spong when he was in kickboxing, because they were in his era, yeah, and they were world-class kickboxers. So yeah, the whole revisionism about his kickboxing career is kind of crazy. Probably not even the IBO, honestly, because probably not even the IBO. Maybe like the WBU. Maybe the WBU. I don't know about that, Larry. I like Opataya a lot, as you guys know. I rate him very highly, but we need to see more. We need to see more. I think he's the best right now at cruiserweight, but that Fury resume aged like an NFT after this weekend's results. Yeah. Yeah. Tate's like the Cage Warriors champion of kickboxing. This shows how good Joe Joyce and Zhang are and how overrated Afro-Americans. Parker KO'd two guys who destroyed these Amero bums. Yeah, I mean, that win's looking better for Joe Joyce. The Parker win. Yeah, it's been a while, bro. It's been a while. It's been a while since I streamed. Yeah, time does fly. This year's gone quick, bro. This year's gone quick. Curiel versus Nonshinga is something I'm very interested in. Day before Usyk Fury. I've not seen much of Nonshinga before. I can't lie. I agree, bro. I agree. I don't think they would have either. Personally, a prime Vladimir, I think, would beat Fury and Usyk. I think Usyk may actually be harder. Exactly, yeah. The Klitschko era was extremely weak, and yet Pulev and Chisora headlined the DAZN card last year. Yeah, Chisora's another one, another relic from the Klitschko era. Zhang KO's Fury and Wilder because of his style matchup, but AJ beat Zhang, possibly stopped Zhang late. Fury is chinny and gets outboxed and resorts to his size to wear people down. Can't do that against Zhang. Yeah, Zhang is a very difficult proposition for anybody. Yeah, I like Subriel Matias. Did you see Bill Haney try to lie about him asking for 4 million to fight Devin? And he got caught in the lie. Did you guys see that? Trying to throw shade on Subriel's name. Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Subriel's a great fighter. I like him a lot. Junior Farr gets knocked down like a drunk, dropping his kebab and trying to catch it. Yeah, bro, if Vladimir fought Wilder at that time, we know what would have happened. We heard about the sparring. Wilder wasn't ready for it. 78 is just a grifter and is using Wilder for money. He doesn't care about Wilder. Bro, he could have fooled me. He could have fooled me. Remember when Wilder punched the mascot and later said he didn't know there was someone inside? That's how dumb he is. Cuz. Well, I've heard this as well. I heard this from Nordic Warrior. He said the film was very good. Apparently, it got rinsed by critics. Just shows how meaningless critics are. Yeah, I've not watched it. I don't really watch boxing movies, to be honest. Low key. Jake Paul does look like a better boxer than Wilder at this point. Low key. Like, if you got a heavyweight version of Jake Paul, like a 6'7" version, probably more skilled than Wilder. Or Inoue versus Nakatani would be interesting. That would be good. Massive in Japan. Yeah, Joe Joyce is still a very good fighter, man. Listen, man, I mean, Parker's got a great chin. He's shown that throughout his career. And Joe was able to stop him. Yeah, the Klitschko era was only called weak because the Klitschkos were so good. Yeah, basically. Basically. I hate to bring it up, but I think Terrell Williams and the ref should have been arrested. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard though. To prove something like that, I guess. Yeah, Bill Haney's a hustler. He's not fooling anybody. Yeah, he just has those used car salesman vibes. But yeah, trying to say Matias asked for 4 million, man. It's crazy. That tells you all you need to know. They have no intention of taking that sort of fight with Matias. They'd rather fight Ryan Garcia, and I get why. Obviously, I get why. But don't lie about it. That's my issue. Just don't lie about it. As much as I didn't like Mikey Garcia, one thing I rated about Mikey, he was very, very honest when he said he's in boxing to make money. He doesn't like boxing. He only does it because he was like decent at it. Mikey always said that. I don't think fighters like that should be in the sport, but at least he's honest. At least he's honest. Yeah, hopefully Matias will actually try to hit Haney if they fight, unlike Regis. Yeah, Regis was a disgrace. Honestly, I liked Regis a lot. He was one of my favorite fighters when he was active back in the day. But great fight, yeah. Rakimov is always in great fights, Lee. Always in great fights. I've not seen much of Nunes, to tell you the truth, so I'd have to check him out first. Devin Haney's a cancer to the sport. Imagine if more fighters were like him, the sport would be dead. Weight bullying, drug cheat, Forrest Gump cosplayer. Listen, the boxing world are doing their very best to force Devin Haney down fans' throats. And listen, you can't fool the fans anymore. I think that sort of style is becoming obsolete post Mayweather. In regards to selling tickets, they sold, 50,000 on pay-per-view. That says it all. That says it all. That style isn't marketable anymore. It's not. Plus, there's a lot of fans who are still salty about the Lomachenko fight, where most people felt Loma won that fight. That's not a way to build a fighter. You can't build something on shaky foundations. You can't build a house on sand foundations, right? And that's what Devin Haney is. He's a good fighter. He's a good boxer, yeah. But he's been elevated above his station by the boxing media, by the boxing, the powers that be. And fight fans know he has been built on lie and fraud, basically. Hence why he's not selling. The boxing fans don't buy Devin Haney's this great pound-for-pound talent. You have to watch him. They don't, because they're not paying for his fights. Yeah, I agree. I agree, yeah. The cruiserweight division is weak, yeah. The fact that old Maris Breda shows that he's still second best shows how weak it is. Yeah, I agree, Dave. I agree. Listen, Joyce versus Caballel, yeah. Caballel could be in a lot of good fights. That's the fight for Bam. I think that's the risky fight. If you look at all the guys in and around him, Junto Nakatani is the risky fight. That's the one where he could come unstuck. Junto is like what? What is Junto? Is he like 5'7" or 5'8" at like super flyweight? Let's have a look at Junto Nakatani. He's tall as hell. He's tall as hell. What should it be in meters? So yeah, Junto Nakatani's 5'7.5". And he's just gone up to bantamweight, actually. But he's a southpaw. He's a very good boxer puncher. He's a very good counter puncher. Hits hard. He's a very hard match for Bam Rodriguez. I'd make Junto a favorite over Bam right now. But he's got a fight coming up, Junto. He's fighting at bantamweight in his next fight. He's fighting the guy who beat Daenerys, Santiago. And he's the WBC champion. So, yeah, Junto's going for that title. That's in February. Decent fight, that is. Decent fight. I think Joyce is done, not because he lost to Zhang, but because he's too old to get himself back into contention before he's completely over the hill. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. That's why he needs to go back. When he does come back, he needs to fight somebody viable, somebody good, not a tune-up fight. Needs to go straight back in there with an elite guy, like a top 15 guy. Big up JD. By the way, I snogged a 49-year-old woman on Saturday night. Kind of regret it, but it boosted my self-confidence after a long dry spell. Big up to yourself, man. It's good to hear. Yeah, the current generation of heavyweights is all based on leftovers from the Klitschko era, but Klitschko was fighting bums, supposedly. Yep, don't get me wrong, Vlad was boring as hell, but he dominated. I agree, yeah. I'm not saying Vlad was perfect, because I wasn't the biggest fan of Vlad, to be honest. I liked Vitali more, a lot more. Okay, so Nunes is one of those unknown Mexicans who's only fought in Mexico. Yeah, they can either be really, really, really dangerous or really shit. There's really no in between. It's like the guy who recently fought Ramirez. He fought nobody going into that Ramirez fight, but he got the job done. That was a really good fight, by the way. If you haven't seen Ramirez versus Espinoza, Rebese Ramirez, that was a great fight. Close fight, but Espinoza won, in my opinion. I agree. This is a reality. You can't fool the fans, man. You can't fool the fans. That Mayweather strategy was genius for the time if you're looking at a business point of view. But I think that's run its course. I don't think fans are going to fall for it again. And Mayweather, despite all we say about Mayweather, I'd still much rather watch Mayweather than Devin Haney. Mayweather was far superior to Haney at any stage in his career. I actually enjoyed a few Mayweather fights. I still like to go back and watch the Canelo fight. Yeah, Floyd made his money backfooting in a still healthy sport. These fools are trying to feed on the carcass he left rotting. Yeah. Yeah, Prograis definitely didn't try his best, regardless. Regardless if he did or not. Like, if he did, probably would still lose, to be honest. I think stylistically, Haney was bad for him, but he should have, yeah, he didn't try. Well, yeah, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Jordan. I hope you're right. I hope he does come in there and he is at his best. Whatever that level is at this point, I hope he's at his best. Name one Finnish boxer who isn't Hellenius. Edis Tatley, former lightweight. There you go. He fought Teofimo. He fought a few guys. He fought Kevin. No, he was going to fight Kevin Mitchell. He's a European champion at lightweight. Edis Tatley. There you go. Yeah, awful. Awful to watch. That fight with Edwin De Los Santos was fucking cancer. Probably the worst fight of this year. And I turned it off after like 4 rounds, whatever it was. But there's people out there who felt De Los Santos won, by the way. Yeah, unknown Mexicans can be very dangerous. Like Lara, bro. Mauricio Lara, when he came over to the UK, nobody heard of him. And he goes in there and starches Warrington, like brutally knocks him out. It was very competitive, in my opinion. It was very competitive. It is a great fight. If anybody hasn't seen it, Rafael Espinoza versus Rebese Ramirez, they should really go and watch it. It was a really good fight. He's going to be hard to beat, Espinoza. He's going to be hard to beat. He's a big fucking guy. He's a big guy. Good fighter as well. Yeah, like super featherweight Floyd could be good to watch. Yeah, he did take apart a lot of guys. Haney's never done that. And you know, Haney has a weight advantage on all of these guys he's fighting, and yet he can't go through the gears. Oh, yeah, that's true, Dumame. Yeah, I forget this. Lee Wood moved up. Yeah, he did. So, yeah, the Inoue fight's never going to happen, obviously. Yeah. It would have been fun, though. It would have been fun. Oh, you saw Lara fight? I'd never seen Lara before. The only thing I heard going into that fight about Lara was from Emmanuel Navarrete, and he said, because they sparred a lot, I believe. I think they may have even been in the same camp, but he was saying like he's one of the hardest punchers he's ever been in with, just sparring. Maybe that should have been a wake-up call. Big up focus on creativity. Hopefully you're well, bro. No, I've not been live in a long time, bro. Not been live in a long time. Nah, Crawford would fucking destroy Haney, man. Crawford would destroy Haney. See, again, say what you want about Crawford, about certain fights he's had, but he takes care of these guys. For the most part, he takes care of these lesser guys. Whoa, that's a great fight. Espinoza versus Brandon Figueroa is an amazing fight, honestly. Bro, there's again Espinoza. There's a lot of fights for him. There's a lot of fights for him. If you're looking at featherweight, hell of a lot of fights for him. Luis Alberto Lopez is a great fight, or Luis Alberto Lopez. Lopez versus Espinoza. That's got fight of the year written all over it. Espinoza versus Lara. Espinoza versus Figueroa. Espinoza versus the Kolmatov Raymond Ford winner. All of these are great fights. If you look at featherweight, there's so many fight of the year contenders you could make. So many fight of the year contenders you could make. Yeah, so I've seen him a couple of times. The Kolmatov guy, he's Kazakh, right? Or Uzbek, one of the two. I saw him fight Thomas Patrick Ward, and he destroyed that guy with body shots. He's a hard puncher, very aggressive guy. Ford's more of a boxer, but Ford, to me, looks like one of those guys who's very flashy, but it's style over substance. Yeah, maybe you're right, Polo Ramirez. Josh's team knew he was dangerous. Watch the video. They thought he didn't have the experience and he looked bad in his last fight. Yeah, I'd like to see him back, though, Lara. The fight with Lee Wood for rematch was very strange. I think there was shenanigans in that build-up. I said it at the time, like, that fight looked so strange. And there was that thing with the weight as well before. It was really weird, man. Yeah. Since his comeback, Fury's only fought bums. Only half-decent name on his resume was Wilder, who was exposed yesterday. Against Usyk, we're going to find out how good Fury really is. My money's on Usyk. Yeah, Tank just needs to fight people, bro. Tank just needs to fight people. Because he can be entertaining. He's got the power. He's got the style to be entertaining. See, this is the issue. This is the issue. Haney and Shakur don't have that style. But Tank does, but he's not taking the fights. The Ryan Garcia fight was a good start. I know there's some shenanigans around that fight with weight, but it was a good start. But he's not going to take these fights, is he? Let's be honest. Tank's not going to take these fights. Sugar Nunes would beat Cordina right now, and he would be like a 7-1 underdog. Look at this. I've not seen this. I don't think I've seen this guy. Eduardo Nunes, right? Oh, he's the guy who recently signed to Matchroom, correct? Yeah, he's got a crazy knockout record. 25 knockouts in 25 wins. From Sinaloa. Interesting. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for him. Andy Cruz looked good. Andy Cruz looked good. Yeah, he beat Juan Carlos Burgos on his debut. Then he beat Straffon. It looks like he's being moved quickly. Good boxer, yeah, good boxer. One thing I like about the new generation of Cubans, they're not as boring as the previous generation. That's an interesting take. Espinoza beats everybody at 126. It's not close. Listen, bro, if you call that now and he goes on and does it, that's a good take. That's a good take. You may be right, bro. I don't know. I need to watch him. Yeah, he's definitely juiced up. Yeah, he's a free agent, right? Or maybe Top Rank have options. You would assume Top Rank have options on him. You would assume. Maybe I'm wrong, but Espinoza's big enough, though. He could go to 130 as well. Imagine him and Navarrete. There'd be a foot difference between Nick Ball and Espinoza, yeah. I like Nick Ball a lot. I think he's a really fun fighter, but yeah, Espinoza's too big. Yeah, we've gone from terrors like Edwin Valero to betas like Shakur and Haney. Absolutely tragic. Yep. That's it. Totally agree. Bro, MJ hits hard, man. MJ hits hard. He's a big puncher. He hits hard. The issue with MJ is, man, he just fucking uses so much unnecessary movement. Yeah, I think he'll definitely head to media once he's done boxing. And he can, listen, most boxers who go into punditry are terrible. I'm not a big Sonny fan, as you guys know, but Sonny can string a sentence together. He does understand boxing. I will give him that credit. He's not like Tony Bellew levels of trash when it comes to analysis. Yeah, that first fight was very competitive. It was very competitive. Wood was definitely up. But the second fight looked so weird to me, man. The second fight looked so weird. Yeah, so he did sign with Matchroom Nunes. I thought I remembered him signing. Yeah, I agree, bro. Yeah, Espinoza, Figueroa is a damn good fight. Honestly, the 126-pounder's got to do more. Yeah, unify the belts, undisputed, make it worth Inoue's time to come up because there are more names at 122. Yeah, I agree. I want to see Inoue fight Luis Neri and also Akhmadaliev at super bantamweight. I think he's got. There's a couple of fights for him. By the way, your post-fight review for the Bivol fight was brutally hilarious. Do you still feel that way, or was it spontaneous reaction? Yeah, I do feel that way. When you're fighting a guy like Lyndon Arthur, who doesn't have a chin, who's been getting dropped by Argentinian taxi drivers, who's not top 10 rated, and you're supposed to be a pound-for-pound level talent, you're supposed to be taking those guys out, in my opinion. And yeah, I just found it uninspiring. I found it dull. I found it boring. I found it repetitive. He's got to be doing more, in my opinion. He's got to be doing more. And it's, people can't moan this guy doesn't have a fan base when he fights like that against D-level competition. Not saying he's not talented. He's a very good boxer, but there comes a time when you've got to stop certain guys. I never expected him to stop someone like Umar Salamov because I know Umar Salamov. He's got a great chin. He's tough as fuck. I'm not saying he should stop all of these guys like at that level, but Lyndon doesn't have a chin. I was told he came into this fight injured as well. Should have stopped him. Yeah, you're definitely biased, man. You're picking the Cricket World Cup. What was the best sporting event of the year for you? I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Jay. Maybe honestly, in terms of like one-off moments, maybe Sean Strickland beating Adesanya. That was the most surprised I've been, I think, in any sporting event. Yeah, Tio versus Matias is a great fight, bro. Awesome fight. So did I, Perry. Spence looked washed. Spence looked washed. Yeah. These guys, listen, they're going to talk about Inoue, but are they going to fight him? We'll see. Yeah, Spence looked rough. He looked very poor. He looked very poor. Nick Ball versus Lopez is a better fight as a matchmaker. I agree because they're both small guys. They're both small guys. Lopez is far more unorthodox than Nick Ball. Lopez reminds me. I can't pinpoint his style, but it's like the Mexican aggression combined with a little bit of like Prince Nazim. How he leads off with uppercuts at crazy angles and shit like that. He's got a weird style, Lopez. It looks all wrong, but it's effective. That's a great fight. Nick Ball versus Lopez is a great fight. That's a barn burner. I think Lopez has too much, to be honest. But Nick Ball would give him a fight. Nick Ball's a tough dude. He's a tough guy. He doesn't fight. Nick Ball doesn't fight like a British fighter. Honestly, he doesn't really fight like a British fighter. And he's got a bit of pop as well. He's got a bit of pop. Yeah, I think Espinosa's too big for Nick Ball. If that fight was real, he did pretty well in Ngannou. But yeah, I agree. I think Francis does get battered by most top heavyweights. Yeah, it's a great fight. I'm not big up Seaguard, man. Big up to yourself. You actually think Callum's gonna knock out Beterbiev and Bivol? I think Bivol is a really bad matchup for him stylistically. I'll be honest. Beterbiev, there's a chance because Beterbiev's 38 years old, whatever he is, had a lot of injuries. The wheels could fall off at any moment. And one thing about Callum is he does have good timing. He's got a very good counter left hook. And Beterbiev in that fight, we know where Callum's going to struggle is if Beterbiev is on his chest in the pocket on the inside. Beterbiev's got to close that distance though, and when he closes that distance from the outside to the inside, that mid-range area is going to be very dangerous because Callum's got a great check counter left hook that has a lot of power on it, and Beterbiev could walk into that. Callum is hitting a lot harder at 75 than he did 68. It's a dangerous fight for Beterbiev. Yeah, Matt, I agree. He's a terrible pundit. That was good trash talk. Yeah, it was a good build up for Sonny versus Bam. It was. Yeah, he was. Don't get me wrong. He was definitely fighting to get knocked out, but he could fight like that against Beterbiev. He could fight not to get knocked out against Beterbiev, but we know Beterbiev would still knock him out, right? And I listen. Bivol's got to do better, in my opinion. He's got to do better. Only real fight, in my opinion, for Inoue is MJ at 122. If not, then go up and take on a very fun and stacked featherweight division. Gone are the old times of ducking like Santa Cruz. Yeah, I agree. That's true as well. That's true as well. But I'd like to see Inoue fight a couple guys at super bantam, defend the undisputed, and then go up. Why not? There's no rush. Yeah, that's true as well. Bivol is very monotonous in his approach. It looks stylistic. It looks stylish because he's got great rhythm. He's got great in and out movement. He throws the punches super straight. But it's just that it's like 1-2, 1-2, 1, 1-2, 1-2, 1, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Like he does the same shit. Yeah, bro, I'm from the UK. I'm from the UK. I picked Wood to beat Lara and got laughed at my fans from North America. Do you have a channel, Polo? Do you have a channel? Oh shit! The best part of the day of reckoning for me was hitting my plus 1021 parlay. Got myself a few gifts with it. Fair play, bro. That's crazy odds. I think Sonny would make a good commentator as well. Yeah, I would worry. I would worry that Nick Ball would walk into an uppercut in that fight. Yeah. That's really it, Alan. Beterbiev just has to be switched on from a defensive point of view. If he does that, he should win the fight comfortably because when he's on Callum's chest, Callum's going to be in for a world of hurt. He can't fight on the inside, Callum. He can't fight on the inside. John Ryder showed that before Canelo. John Ryder beat Callum and got robbed. He got robbed. Which is a bit of a shame for John because he should have been a world champion. And also, he put up a better fight against Canelo than Callum did, to be honest. John's one of those guys. John Ryder's one of those guys who isn't quite world class, but he's like fringe world level. Tough guy, John Ryder. By the way, a fight nobody's talking about. Speaking of like good, fun, stylistic fights. Hang on, let me take this hoodie off. John Ryder versus Jaime Munguía. I think that's a great fight. I really do. I like both guys. A lot of people don't like Munguía, but I love watching that guy fight. I think he's pure entertainment. His fight with Derevyanchenko was one of my favorite fights from this year. Munguía, great to watch. I think John Ryder is perfect for him. John Ryder's going to test him. It's a great fight, man. It's a great fight because there's the chance of the upset and Ryder catches Munguía, but Munguia's got a better work rate. That's the issue for John Ryder. But he leaves a lot of openings, Munguía. And Ryder's sneaky, especially with his uppercuts on the inside, his right hook from a southpaw stance. It's a great fight, that is. That's a great fight. You might be right. You might be right. We'll see a lot. We'll see. Smith targets Arthur's body. He wins. I'm calling it now. Interesting. I think the upset's possible. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. Yeah. And again, what did we say, Duma, mate? It was a left hook, wasn't it? With Callum Johnson, I think. It was a left hook. But Beterbiev showed in that fight he's got a good chin because one thing about Callum Johnson, he could really, really punch. Callum Johnson's career was ruined by injuries. He was a Commonwealth gold medalist in the amateurs. He was a good amateur, but his career was ruined by injuries. Totally ruined. He could have been a decent fighter, Callum Johnson. I agree, Jordan. That's what I said in my post-fight. Dubois versus Caballero for European title. That makes perfect sense. I think Tank would be too big in terms of weight. I agree, Perry. I think Fury will do a lot of smothering. like forearm over the neck, that sort of thing. Yeah. See, that's another one. I never held it against him not knocking out Ramirez because Ramirez is so fucking big. And I actually felt his performance in that fight was very good, Bivol. I don't mind those sort of performances, but guys like Linden should not be going the distance with a world-class fighter. He was never going to get a decision against Smith, especially at the time Matchroom were building Smith up. Yeah, true. Ryder is world class. He just had hard matches. I think he's a level below world class. Ryder's too stiff. He certainly doesn't have the work rate of Munguía, but he can pick the moments. He can pick in between Munguia's punches, and I think he hits hard enough to hurt Munguía. Because Derevianchenko buzzed Munguía a couple of times, and he's a middleweight coming up. Ryder's been at 68 for a little while. I think that's a great fight. Munguía versus Ryder. Say what you want about Munguía, but I know he hasn't stepped up in this, that, and the third, but Munguía is one of those guys at this point in time. I don't view him as like a guy who I expect to build this great legacy in terms of wins per se. I just want to see him in good fights. He's one of those sort of guys, and he's going to deliver. He's just there for entertainment. Munguía will beat Ryder by a close decision. Yeah, Ryder has to knock him out, in my opinion. Go for it, Dumar, mate. Go for it. Make a channel. More the merrier. More the merrier, man. Jaime under Freddie Roach is going to be a no hoper? No Tate? I don't know what you mean there. Is he with Freddie Roach now? I liked the work he was doing with Eric Morales, by the way. There was much more of a jab being developed with Morales. I felt Morales, you could see they was working on things within fights, but I liked what he was trying to do with Munguía. He was trying to get Munguía not to box like a mover, but to box his way in a little more. I liked what Morales was doing with Munguía. Probably is, yeah. Yeah, Munguia's a violent KO waiting to happen, but he's so entertaining. I don't even care. If he doesn't please the purists. Yeah, exactly, bro. There has to be a space for fighters like Munguía. You think Ryder's going to beat him? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Not sure, Seagar. Maybe. I may do a video, like a wish list for 2024, maybe. Something like that. That's another thing. Yeah, Callum Smith beat the shell of George Groves. Yeah, an injured George Groves. Pete Groves outclasses Smith. Callum Smith has way overachieved. And yeah, George Groves was giving Callum some trouble in that fight as well. Can you imagine like the George Groves that fought Kyle Froch, for example, first time around? He'd have beat Callum, yeah. He'd have beat Callum. I predicted Dubois to stop Miller, AJ to stop Wallin, Sanchez to stop Farr. That's 4 out of 4. I didn't bet on Jai or the other fights because I didn't know enough about them. Yeah, that's fair enough. You got them all right then. The ones you did do, you got them all right. I don't care about that sort of shit, man, honestly. I don't pay any mind to it. What I find interesting is like the double standards of when certain people say things, they get criticized, but when others do it, the media say nothing. That's the only thing. But I don't really care about that stuff, mate, honestly. I just watch for boxing for what it is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think he's coming back at cruiserweight, Adam. Vodzik is still knocking about, yeah. Do you know what, Alan? Vodzik's had a few fights this year, like comeback fights. I wouldn't mind seeing Vodzik in there with Anthony Yard. Why not? I think that would be a decent fight. I know Vodzik's past his best, but he still cracks. So like he knocked out Bolotniks, who is a European level light heavyweight, did it a lot more emphatically than Joshua Buatsi did. So there's still something there with Vodzik. He's not shot. He's past his best, but he's not shot. I wouldn't mind seeing Vodzik against Anthony Yarde. I know it's not going to happen, but wouldn't mind seeing it. Wouldn't mind seeing it. I think it's a good fight for both. Vodzik in regards to getting back in contention, and Yarde as for like a step up, I guess. He's deceptively good on the inside, Dumame. He picks the openings extremely well. And I've said this about Inoue. He does roll with punches very well, even when he gets hit. And he's usually always in a position to fire back as well. It's rare you see Inoue off balance. I felt Tapales did a pretty good job actually. He did actually. I think it was after the fourth round. No, after the fifth round. I think it was like round 6, 7, and 8. He actually was able to keep Inoue off balance for those rounds for a little bit. But usually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's definitely more rejuvenated at 75. Jose Felix, didn't he beat Gary Cully? Or am I wrong? He the guy who beat Gary Cully? Yeah, he did, yeah. So he's going up to 147 from lightweight. Okay. Yeah, Crocker should be too big. It's a good fight, though. It's fun. Honestly, he probably would beat Jamal Charlo at this stage. Jamal Charlo, I didn't think he looked great against Jose Benavidez. I think you should be knocking a guy like that out. Because Benavidez isn't a 68-pounder. He started at 140, Jose Benavidez. Yeah, Jordan Gill definitely is an overachiever, I'd say. Yeah, he's got a fan base, Munguía. He's definitely got a fan base. Dubois like Lenny from Mice and Men. Very simple-minded but dangerous. Yeah, I agree. Dubois is weird, though. He does have some ability. There is some skill there. There's stuff to work with Dubois. He does have talent, but it's just a question of his heart and his chin in tough fights. That's what it is with Dubois. Make a channel, bro. Make a channel. And like, I'm sure, listen, the channels that you listen to, mention it. Like, I'll recommend your channel. Do we see Makhmudov again, or was he exposed that badly? He was badly exposed. Listen, there's a place for a guy like Makhmudov if he's just in fun fights against mid-tier competition. He'll win some, he'll lose some, but he could be a good undercard fighter. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those sort of guys need to exist in boxing. But that's his level. That's his level. No rebuild job. Just put this guy in there with other fun mid-tier fighters. That's really it. Heisensberg, what's up, bro? Yeah, Yard won't take that fight with Vodzik, but I think it's a great fight at this stage. I think it's a great fight to make. How far do you think Vodzik can go on this comeback? I mean, you look at light heavyweight, you got the two champions who I don't think he beats. Outside of that, light heavyweight isn't that strong. He could maybe beat a Yard. He could maybe upset a Yard at this stage, even now. So maybe he could get back into like title contention, or maybe he could get a title shot, but I don't think he'll ever become a champion again. I picked Parker to beat Wilder, AJ to stop Otto, and Daniel to stop Miller, Sanchez to stop Farr, and Philippe first round KO, 6 out of 6. I didn't think about Bivol or Arslan fight, to be honest. Yeah, there was money to be made on that card. There was money to be made. If you're a betting man, that is. The size definitely plays a factor, but I think he is getting better as a fighter. I think his guard has improved in particular. His guard's a bit more active now. And he cut the ring off better against Andrade. He learned from the Caleb Plant fight. In the Caleb Plant fight, Plant was able to hold and nullify and spoil. Andrade tried it, but Benavidez never let him. One thing about Benavidez in that Andrade fight that showed improvement to me was when Andrade tried to lean in for the clinch, Benavidez would throw the uppercut, which was there for him against Caleb Plant, but he never threw it. He learned how to nullify the clinch a lot better in that Andrade fight. So, yeah, the size is definitely a massive factor with Benavidez. You'd be a liar to say otherwise. But I think his skills are getting better as well. I liked the improvements against Andrade. He done like I said, he'd done a lot better at nullifying the clinch. 1 second, guys. I'm going to get a drink. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. You seem high on Matias. Do you think he beats the top guys at 140? Or does anybody beat him easily if they knock him out early? So yeah, Matias is one of my favorite fighters in boxing going into 2024. I love his style. I think he's got more skills than people make out. He's good at closing distance. His jab is super underrated. He's got different looks to the jab. He'll fire it from the waist. He can fire it really quickly from the high guard. He can vary it from body to head. He's actually very good at throwing while moving forwards, which is a hard skill to learn. Puts his shots together well, has power, etc. And he rolls with shots quite well as well. He gets hit a bit, but he rolls with shots quite well. But to answer your question, I think he's got a very good chance over anybody at 140. Including Tio, including Haney, if he's there to fight. I heard rumors he could be signing with Eddie Hearn, by the way. Matias. Could be a good move. You feel Aziz is going to KO Buatsi? I actually want Dan to win, as he seems to have more desire to get to the top. He seems like a nice guy, Dan, actually. But I think Buatsi hits a bit too hard. Dan Aziz is good, good European level guy. I think Buatsi's a bit better, harder puncher. I think he's a better shot selector. Dan Aziz likes to crowd you and get up close and work. I think when it's going to be fought from distance, Buatsi's going to get the better of it, to be honest with you. It's a good fight, though. Yeah, I agree, SH. Yeah, Tank fans love talking about Inoue. Go focus on his division. They love weight bullying, yeah. Plant beats Jamal Charlo at this stage. Jamal is washed. Not washed, but he's past his best. I didn't like it. Boring, uninspiring, dull. Didn't like it. Yeah, man. Yeah, that UFC 296 was super underwhelming, but that knockout was amazing. He knocked out Bryce Mitchell, yeah. Brutal knockout. One of the worst knockouts I've seen this year in any combat sport. It was savage. Agbeko accused Morel of juicing and Hearn of covering up for him. I swear, hang on, is Morel's not with Hearn? You mean PBC? Heyman, do you mean? I have a feeling where there is smoke. Oh, listen, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Morel... all of these guys are juicing more than likely, right? All of these guys are juicing. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Audley Harrison might beat the Wilder who turned up against Parker. Yeah, he was bad. He was bad. Do I think Morrell has greater potential than Benavidez? Personally, I think he'll be better than Benavidez in a few years. Yeah, if they made that fight right now, probably lean towards Benavidez, to be honest. If I make it in a year's time, 18 months' time, I may be saying something completely different. I believe Morrell is very... I think he's a very good fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. Hang on, I lost where I was then. I want to see a boxing match between Del Boy and Disturbed Reality. Yeah, Benavidez, we'll see how good he really is at 75, right? Yeah, that was still arguably his best win, was Liam Smith. Yeah, he was good against Liam Smith. He was, yeah. And you see Liam Smith years later arguably beat Kurbanov in Russia and knock out Chris Eubank Jr. Yeah, Buatsi, that's another one for Vodzik. Buatsi, yeah. Yeah, I wonder what happens next with PBC. So they have a deal now with Amazon. There has to be some level of quality control because there wasn't that with Fox or Showtime and all these networks they've previously been on. You would think at some point in time, one of these networks, if they're going to take a chance on PBC, you would have to assume they're aware of what happened previously. There's a reason they haven't been able to stick on a network for any prolonged amount of time, right? Hopefully there's some sort of quality control. Hopefully fights are made, but we'll see. I mean, they have to at some point, right? PBC have to make these fights at some point because there's only so many networks you can be on before you run out of options, before you burn your bridges. I'll take Matias over Haney. I'll take Matias over Haney, Teo, Antoine Russell, Elvis Rodriguez, and maybe Jose Ramirez. I think he can beat all of them. That would be a great fight. Him and Morrell would be a great fight. I don't think he's seasoned enough as of right now, Morrell. But I do like these new generation of Cubans much more than the previous generation. Like Morrell is really entertaining. Robese Ramirez, entertaining. Andy Cruz looks entertaining. I don't know what it is, but this new generation seem a lot more willing to put a show on. And that's really all I want. Where these guys end up being, how good they end up being is whatever. All I really want is to be entertained from these fighters. Yeah, I mean, he nearly killed that Kazakh guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he does fight Ruiz. That could make sense. A trilogy fight with Ruiz, it could make sense. If he can't get one of those belts following Usyk Fury, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. When I say all of these fighters are on juice, I mean, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but I'd say most of them are. I'd say most of them are. Yeah, Parker won every round on my card, literally every round. I do feel like all fighters should be able to juice from now on, but I'm not sure about virtually all fighters being on the juice. Unlike you. Yeah, I think most of these elite guys, particularly the guys with money behind them, are on juice. I'll be surprised if this fight gets made. Eubank versus Janibek. I'll be very surprised. I think that's a good fight to make, though. Janibek, let's be honest, good fighter, but he needs an opponent of, a certain standing who brings eyes to the table. Janibek hasn't had that guy yet, and you can say what you want about Eubank Jr. He brings eyes to the table. And he's not a bad fighter. Listen, he gets overrated by people, but he's not a terrible fighter, Eubank Jr. He's top 10 right now at middleweight. So why not? I'd like to see it. Why not? And let's be honest, yeah, Janibek is good. Janibek is good, but is he this killer? I mean, he couldn't knock out Denzel Bentley, who got starched by Felix Cash and got schooled by, what's that dude's name? Oh, that guy from Stoke, some random guy who I forgot his name. So yeah, Eubank has to take that sort of fight if he wants to be a champion. Let's see it. I agree. Yeah, Stanionis would beat Furman right now. They were talking about making that fight for this year, end of this year, but never happened. But I heard rumors it's going to take place early next year, so we'll see. What's up, Apology? Nice to see you here. Good to see you. Yeah, I had a good Christmas. There you go, Alan. I mean, apparently he priced himself out. I bet he's kicking himself now. Having said that, though, we don't really know what Ruiz has left, do we? He never looked great against Luis Ortiz. He lost a lot of rounds to Ortiz. And without the knockdowns, he'd have lost that fight, to be honest. Eubank's not killing his career off by fighting Janibek. Maybe, you're probably right, bro. I'd be surprised if Eubank takes that fight. So would I, but I'd like to see it. Yeah, Janibek is no Golovkin. He's no Golovkin. Again, should you be going the distance with Denzel Bentley? Yeah, Janibek Adames should have happened this year, but hey, I think it should happen. I think Adames should be the WBC champion. He's the interim champion. He's been the interim champion for a while. Charlo hasn't defended in over 2 years. Should be the champion. Yeah, exactly, Taylor. Yeah. Waleem probably wasn't on the juice. He was probably like clean as hell for that fight because it's AJ, and AJ's the money guy. He was clean more than likely. I mean, you have to look at it realistically, JD. Oh, way over 40 fights, and his best win is Luis Ortiz. If you look at the heavyweights of his generation, he's below Tyson Fury, he's below AJ, he's below Usyk. By the way, he's now below Joseph Parker as well. Let's be honest here. Parker's got a better resume. He beat Wilder, first and foremost. He beat Andy Ruiz, who went on to become a champion. Even his fringe contender wins are better, like Hughie Fury, a prime Carlos Takam. He beat Chisora. Parker, if you rank these everyone retires tomorrow, AJ's above Wilder, Usyk's above Wilder, Fury's above Wilder, Parker's above Wilder. You could make the argument that Ruiz is above Wilder. I don't even like Parker that much in terms of style. I have to give him. I do have to give him credit though, because if you look at his resume, he's fought guys. He fought AJ. He fought White. He fought Joyce. He fought Ruiz. He fought Wilder. He fought Takam when Takam was something. Chisora, Huey Fury. He's fought some decent guys, Parker. He's fought some decent guys. The only guy he's not really fought is Fury and Usyk. Yeah, Adames losing to Patrick Teixeira was surprising. Yeah. No real plans. Apology. I'm not like a New Year resolution type of guy. I just try and continue working hard, basically, and see where it takes me. I don't believe in the whole New Year's resolution thing. I'll just try and apply myself the best I can, kind of thing, day by day. That's really it. I don't do the whole New Year's resolution thingy-majiggy. One second. I don't expect anything from Billy Joe Saunders, bro, at this stage. I don't expect him to do anything. Way past it. Been out of the ring for too long. Doesn't live a life. He's just coming back for a payday. Like maybe a Eubank Jr. rematch or something like that. How easily does Usyk beat Fury? If it's competitive, Usyk is also shit. I think he'll outpoint Fury like 116, 112, 117, 111, to be honest. Usyk, thing is with... So if it's competitive, Usyk's also shit. It depends, bro. Because I think Fury's past his best. But if he's allowed to foul, if he's allowed to do what he wants, you have to take that into consideration. Because I think he will be. I think Fury's going to be allowed to do anything. But there you go. And if a guy's not fighting within the rules, then you have to take that into account. Again, people are going to see that as hyperbole. I think that's a very real, credible take. Most overrated heavyweight champion in history, Deontay Wilder. That's a very credible take, objectively. When you look at the resume, when you look at who he beat, overrated, by the way, he could be the most overrated heavyweight champion in history. Doesn't mean he's the worst, because there have been worse, like Charles Martin, for example. But yeah. Yeah, Wilder struggled badly with Eric Molina. That should tell you everything, yeah. And Spilka. Yeah, Wilder's beaten one world champion, and he's one of the weakest in history in Stavern. No genuine world-level wins on his resume. Dillian Whyte has a far better resume. He does. Again, it's true. Parker, on its own. Yeah, I bet he wishes he took that Wilder fight in December, yeah. Dino Shake. Yeah, Fury's only chance is if a ref lets him get away with illegal tactics. I agree, bro, at this point. I totally agree. Maybe they'll still make it. Heisensberg. Wouldn't surprise me. Get Wilder in there with a cream puff, get a knockout. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, the American media will put him in the Hall of Fame, yeah. Only place he belongs is fucking Hall of Shame right now. Deontay Wilder. Yeah, he's definitely the most overrated. He's not the worst since he beat one of the worst. The hype Wilder has and his legacy is awful, yeah. Yeah, he's going to Steve Cunningham Usyk if the referee allows it. Yeah, basically that's what Fury needs, I think, at this stage. Do I give Hrgovic a chance of beating AJ? I make AJ a fair favourite. Listen, Hrgovic is a big dude. He does have a good chin, actually. Hrgovic does have a good chin. So he's got okay power. He's got a chance. He's a big dude, but I make AJ a favourite, to be honest with you. I don't think Usyk has a weakness to the body per se. Yes, Sven, I agree. Like, people act like Tyson Fury 118, 110, fucking Vladimir Klitschko. That never happened. It was a tit for tat fight. That Fury won like 7-5. And as soon as Vlad started letting go of shots late in that fight, he was catching Fury. Vladimir laid an egg. He laid an egg and he was past his best. He wasn't shot, but he was past his best. I don't know who HS is. Did you see HS and Zerka fight? No, I don't know who HS is. I know Zerka, but I mean, if he retired after the second Fury fight, we wouldn't have missed out on much. Lost to Fury again and lost to Parker. He's beat Hellenius in between the second Fury fight and now. He's beat Hellenius. I mean, probably. I'm not that far from being right, I'd say. My opinion. Who won? Who won this fight? I don't know who this guy is. Stick. I don't know who that guy is. Let's face it, they all have a shitty resume. It's just the degrees that differ, yeah. Yeah, nobody has an ultra strong resume, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But Wilder's is awful. Wilder's is awful. Because ultimately, outside the champions in the last 20 years, let's take the Klitschko's out of the equation, AJ, Usyk, Fury. Like somebody was saying earlier, Dillian White has a better resume. Parker has a better resume. Povetkin has a better resume. Prime Povetkin would beat every current heavyweight other than Usyk. I think Prime Povetkin would have knocked out Wilder when that fight was supposed to happen. I think Prime Povetkin versus Prime AJ would have been a fucking tremendous fight. I do. I think that would have been a tremendous fight. Because when AJ got to Povetkin wasn't at his best anymore. He wasn't shot, like a lot of people say he was. He wasn't shot, but he was past it. And it was competitive until it wasn't. Prime Povetkin versus Prime AJ would be a very good fight. I would see that as a genuine 50-50. Genuine 50-50. How many matches has Usyk won at heavyweight? So he beat Chisora, he beat Chaz Witherspoon, he beat AJ twice, and he beat Dubois 5. He's got 5. Yeah, he's got a good. Usyk's got a great resume. Glowacki, Nshunu, Hunter, Hook, Briedis, Gassiev, Bellew, Chisora, AJ, Dubois. Yeah, Fury can only dream of a resume like that. You're definitely right, Heisensberg. But you can say that with any fighter who's got like a fan base, right? You're definitely right. You're definitely right. All I want to see is a fight in which is fair refereeing, fair officiating, and we'll see who the best man is. We'll see who the best man is. I hope Usyk wins, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I'm rooting for Usyk. I am biased because I think objectively Usyk's a much better representation of what a fighter should be. And not only that, I'll go beyond boxing. He's more of a reputation of what a man should be. Tyson Fury is a guy who really epitomizes the modern man. Cowardice, selling out his principles just to stay relevant. We heard what Tyson Fury said about certain things pre-Vladimir Klitschko compared to what he's saying now. And for me, I can't support a guy like that. I can't. He's everything that is wrong with the Western world now. Sells out his principles for a few fucking bucks. Scumbag, quite frankly. Faking mental health, playing that card. I think he's a terrible representation of a fighter. And I think he's a terrible representation of a role model, to be honest with you. Oh, there's that. There's definitely that. You can definitely argue that. But ultimately, that's above my pay grade. Ultimately, that's above my pay grade. You can say Usyk's been a tool of propaganda in war. I totally get that. I totally get that. But you know, many people fall for patriotism. You know, whereas Tyson Fury didn't have that sort of pressure on his shoulders. He never had that pressure on his shoulders. Pressure of wartime. He never had that on his shoulders. He simply sold out. With no pressure, with zero pressure, he sold out. So there's a big difference. Tyson Fury's out here proclaiming to be a Christian man. Yeah, he's snogging men at weigh-ins. He's constantly making remarks that are totally totally the opposite of Christianity and what a religious man should believe in. Like the guy Tyson Fury is a sellout. He's basically everything he accused Anthony Joshua of being, and Joshua is that as well. But we know that about Joshua. We've known that from day one. Tyson Fury has turned into Anthony Joshua. He's turned into what he was criticizing Joshua for. I mean, again, it's almost like the total representation of modern life. You can fuck up. You can be a horrible person. You can do this, that, and the third. And as soon as you say, "Oh, I'm mentally ill. I have mental health issues," all of your responsibilities get alleviated. That's what Tyson Fury did. He was fucking up, and then he started saying, "Oh, I'm depressed," and everybody conveniently forgot like everything. Yeah, Fury will definitely. If Fury can get away with it, he will. Not even. I don't think Fury will even low blow that much. Actually, I think Fury will be more reliant on like trying to lean on Usyk and getting the forearm over his like above his neck type of thing and pushing down and really lean that body weight onto him. That's what I would do if I could get away with it. If I was fighting Usyk. Yeah, the mental health card got started once he popped the Nandrolone. Not a coincidence. Yeah. Yeah, Fury wasn't like this. When you sell out, they fuck your mind up with drugs. Listen to Fury before he sold out. I think Parker has lots to do with it. There are some very sinister things going on. It's weird. Does anybody believe? So JD's to JD's point. Does anybody believe Tyson Fury got in this Ferrari, was up to like 160 miles per hour and was going to drive it into a bridge, and then he had this moment of clarity to stop himself? Does anybody actually believe that? Come on. I don't. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But honestly, I think both guys could be past it at this stage, Heisensberg. I just think Fury's more past it. He is a great storyteller, yeah. And the issue I have with Tyson Fury as well, one more thing, outside of all the criticism I've given him, my biggest criticism of Tyson Fury, from a boxing standpoint, I actually believe this guy was a generational talent. How he could move, like pre the whole hiatus from boxing, how he could move, how he could fight with this unique rhythm, how he could adopt various different styles. This guy ruined the best years of his career. We never saw him fight. Imagine if this guy was switched on throughout his career, how good Tyson Fury could have been. That's my biggest issue with Tyson Fury. I'm not saying the guy isn't talented or was never talented. Not at all. Quite the contrary, in fact. But he's pissed ass around so much in his career. It's unbelievable. And he's got this far doing what he's done. So imagine if he was fully committed from day one, what Tyson Fury could have done. It's kind of crazy to think. It's kind of crazy to think. Because he does have talent. I'm not denying that. He does have talent. Because when I remember back in the day, it's not like I'm just some like unhinged Tyson Fury hater. I remember back in the day when I was seeing David Price and Tyson Fury on the come up. And there was a lot of hype around for David Price. I said way back then Tyson Fury was far superior. He'll beat David Price. And I could prove it. I had an account on YouTube called XDX Raven V2. It was like an old channel I had, like a random throwaway channel. And I could probably find comments on old Tyson Fury David Price videos saying Fury beats Price. I rated Tyson Fury way more than David Price on the come up. Everybody was on David Price's nuts back then. Everybody. This is why I laugh about Tyson Fury fans. Most of these, there was barely any Tyson Fury fans back then when David Price was the shit. When he was like the main prospect in the UK at heavyweight, there was no Tyson Fury fans. Barely any. Barely any. I saw this guy make the adjustments in the John McDermott rematch. I saw this guy box up Chisora very early in his career. I saw the guy completely nullify Kingpin Johnson better than Vitali did. schooled Kingpin Johnson. I said back then, this guy beats David Price. It's not going to be close. Guy was far more talented. And I liked Tyson Fury up until he came back. Basically, up until he came back, he had that little MK Ultra session. And since then, I haven't liked Fury. It's not like I've always hated Fury. I don't hate Fury, by the way, but it's not like I've always disliked Fury. I just find him as another one of those tales in boxing where you had a great talent and he never realized it. I don't care whether he's a heavyweight champion. He could have done more. Could have done more, in my opinion. But that's boxing. You know, there's always these sort of guys in boxing. James Toney's another one. He's the best example. As great as James Toney was, this guy never took nutrition seriously, never took training seriously. Imagine how good he could have been. You know what I mean? I mean, we know there's fighters like this throughout boxing history, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, he had his rhythm, he could mix it up as well. He could switch orthodox and southpaw. The jab was so much more varied. The reactions were there. The footwork was there. The rhythm. He could fight on the inside as well. People forget that. Great talent, Tyson Fury. So yeah, I'm not doubting Tyson's talent. I just think the way his career's gone has honestly been very sad. I think he could have been because there's no doubt he's a very charismatic guy. He's a good talker. I think he could have been a real beacon of hope, more than just boxing. I think he could have really been a beacon of hope if he kept to his principles and stuck with what he actually believes in. I think Tyson Fury is a tragic case, actually. But there you go. That's just me. That's just me. That's why I'm so hard on Tyson Fury, I think, more than anything. Because I felt hoodwinked after supporting him for so long. But there you go. There you go. Who beats Usyk if he doesn't retire after the Fury fights? It's a great question. I think he's now on the downward slide, to tell you the truth. It depends. I'd have to see him fight Fury first before I can answer it. But I think it would be. I think for either guy, whether it's Fury or Usyk, I think after those fights, whoever wins and loses, I think they should retire. To be honest with you, to be utterly honest, I think they should both retire after those fights. Because I think if they stick around after that, you will see guys beat them who, in their primes, they wouldn't have lost to, basically. That's my opinion. I'd say both should retire after those fights have concluded, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, I need to wrap it up. I need to wrap it up. I need some food. I'm so fucking hungry. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I'll try and stream more in the future. I've been very inactive when it comes to streaming, so my apologies on that. Hopefully you guys had a great Christmas. Hopefully you guys enjoy the New Year's festivities coming up. And yeah, I wish you guys a happy New Year. And hopefully you all stay safe. You achieve great things. And yeah, all that good stuff. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I'll try and stream more often on this channel going forwards. We shall see. But anyway, guys, have a great one. Peace out. I need some food.